The battlefield of Kerith Valley had finally gone quiet for 12 brutal hours. The sky had burned with plasma fire, and the ground had trembled beneath. Artillery strikes now, only smoke drifted across the broken land. Commander Velra of the Kethari. Warrior clans lay among shattered armor and fallen soldiers. Her breathing was shallow. Her armor was cracked open across the chest where a plasma round had struck. Warm blood spread beneath her body, soaking into the dark soil. She had fought in many wars. The Kethari were born warriors, raised to believe that honor was forged in battle and proven through sacrifice. Vela had led countless victories, but today the enemy had come prepared. Ambush had crushed her entire unit. One by one her warriors had fallen until the battlefield was silent. Vela knew what came next. The three warriors were trained never to fear it. When the end came, they faced it with pride. But Vela felt something unusual, not fear only, exhaustion. The sky above her blurred. As smoke drifted across the dying light, she whispered a quiet farewell to the ancient ancestors of her people. Then she closed her eyes. Let this be my final battlefield, she thought. Time passed, slowly, minutes or hours, she could not tell. Her body grew colder, her breathing weaker. Then something strange touched her senses. A smell, warm, rich, and completely out of place. Velra frowned slightly. The battlefield smelled of burned metal and scorched ground, but this smell was different. Savory scent grew stronger. Something sizzling, something cooking. Confused, Velra forced her eyes open for a moment. She thought she was dreaming. A small fire burned a few meters away. 3 stones held a metal pan above the flame. Something inside the pan was sizzling loudly, and beside the fire sat a strange creature. He hummed softly while stirring the food. He looked small compared to most galactic warriors. No heavy armor, no visible weapons, just a worn jacket, dark pants, and messy brown hair. The creature flipped the food in the pan and nodded to himself. Velra blinked in disbelief. Of all the strange things to see before death, this might have been the strangest. The creature turned, suddenly noticing her movement. Their eyes met. The stranger froze for half a second, then he smiled. "Oh hey," he said casually, "you are awake." Velra tried to move her arm, but pain shot through her chest. Her voice came out rough. "What are youth?" Creature pointed to himself with the cooking spatula. "Human name is Daniel. Terrible pilot and currently your battlefield." Chef Velra stared at him. The translation implant in her mind slowly processed the unfamiliar language. Human, she had heard of them once in a distant military report. A young species, unpredictable in strange ways. "Why am I alive?" she asked. Daniel shrugged while stirring the pan again. "Because when I landed here, you were bleeding out. So I patched you up the best I could." He nodded toward a small medical kit sitting beside the fire. Not perfect, but it stopped most of the bleeding. Velra looked down. Her chest wound was tightly wrapped with medical bandage. The bleeding had slowed. "You saved me," she said slowly. Daniel gave a small nod. Seemed like the right thing to do. Velra tried to understand the situation. "You realize I am your enemy?" Daniel tilted his head. "Maybe, but right now you look more like someone who almost died." He lifted the pan and placed food onto a metal plate. "Besides, dinner is ready, you should eat." He walked over and handed the plate to her. The smell was incredible: rice, vegetables, and strips of cooked protein steamed in the cool air. Velra hesitated. Kethari warriors did not accept food from enemies, but her body was weak and starving. Slowly, she took the plate. "What is this meal called?" she asked. Daniel smiled proudly. "Fried rice, human comfort food." Velra took a careful bite. Her eyes widened slightly. The taste was warm, balanced, and surprisingly satisfying. "Battle Rations across the galaxy were bland and functional. This tasted like something meant to be enjoyed. Daniel watched her reaction. Carefully, not terrible. Right, Velra swallowed it. Is acceptable, Daniel laughed, from a dying alien warrior. I will consider that a 5-star review. They sat quietly beside the fire. The battlefield stretched around them, silent and dark. After several minutes, Velra spoke again. Why would a human help an enemy soldier? Daniel leaned back, looking up at the stars. My grandmother had a rule, he said. If someone is hurt, you help them first. You can argue about sides. Velra considered this. Among the Cathari, mercy existed, but it was rare on the battlefield. Your species behaves strangely, she said. Daniel grinned. Yeah, we get that a lot. Suddenly, the distant sky flashed. Both of them looked toward the horizon. Lights moved through the clouds. Search craft, Velra said quietly. The enemy returning to confirm their victory. Daniel stood quickly. That sounds like our cue to leave. He pointed toward a small shuttle hidden behind broken debris. Velra shook her head weakly. Cannot move. Far. Daniel crouched beside her. We will figure it out. He carefully lifted her arm across his shoulder. Humans were smaller than Cathari warriors, but his determination made up for the difference. Slowly, step by step, he helped her walk. Step hurt, but Velra forced herself forward. Why risk this? She asked while they moved. Daniel answered simply, because leaving someone to die when you can help feels wrong. The shuttle hatch opened with a soft hiss. Daniel guided her inside and secured her in a seat. Then he rushed to the cockpit outside. The search ships were already descending toward the battlefield. Engines roared as the shuttle powered up. Come on, Daniel muttered while activating the controls. The shuttle lifted from the ground just as enemy lights swept across the valley. Within seconds, they were climbing into the dark sky. Velra watched the battlefield disappear beneath the clouds. You have altered my fate today, human. Daniel, she said quietly. Daniel smiled slightly while guiding the ship toward open space. Honestly, I just wanted to cook dinner without getting shot. Velra studied him carefully. Among the Cathari heroes were warriors who destroyed armies, commanders who conquered entire worlds, but this human had done something completely different. He had stopped in the middle of a battlefield build. A small fire-cooked meal and saved the life of an enemy. Your species may be young among the stars, Velra said, but there is strength in such kindness. Daniel glanced back at her with a relaxed grin. Humans are pretty stubborn about helping people, even the scary alien warriors. Velra allowed a small, rare smile. Perhaps that stubbornness will change the galaxy. The shuttle continued into the endless sea of stars. Behind them, the battlefield faded into darkness, and somewhere in the quiet of deep space, an alien warrior who had expected death was alive, because a human decided the most important thing in the middle of a war was cooking dinner for someone who needed it.